Yo, what's good? It's your girl Crombie coming to you with another episode of Talking Football with Crombie. This week we are focused on just the picks. So let's get into it. Top games of the week. What are we watching? Let's go. So let's talk about the top 5 games of the week. And if you're watching football this week, you need to be watching Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Buffalo Bills. And let me tell you why. So the Bills have won 5 of 6 games since losing 2 consecutive. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're coming off their first loss of the season to the Washington football team? Question mark? That's exactly what happened. But in going into this game and digging a little bit further into the statistics, teams that were 11-0 that lost a game would then lose another game. So what that means is they should lose to these Buffalo Bills. But I'm not so sure of that. Big Ben, he's been pretty good. He's had over 250 plus yards in the past 5 games, and he's had 0 sacks. That's a big deal. If Buffalo wants to be able to win this game, they're definitely going to have to make sure that they take care of the wide receivers on the Steelers end, because right now they're running the ball less than 40% of the time, so you're really going to be looking to stop the pass. But they do get James Conner back this week off of the COVID list, and I think these Buffalo Bills are feeling really confident after a big win last week against San Francisco. I don't know if it's going to be enough. I know statistics say that the Steelers should lose this game, but I think Mike Tomlin has this team amped and ready to go, because a loss would mean that they'd lose that #1 playoff spot. And if there's anybody that wants a week off, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They never really had their bye dealing with the whole Tennessee game and COVID, so they need this win. I think they get it. Go Steelers. Another one of the big games to watch is the Indianapolis Colts versus the Las Vegas Raiders. And Derek Carr has been on fire as of late. And he's had 8 touchdowns to 0 interceptions in his games versus the Colts. This guy doesn't like them. But if there's somebody that doesn't like a team, it's Phillip Rivers versus the Raiders. And we know that this is his first year with the Colts. But when he was with the Chargers, he had the best records versus the Raiders in NFL history. I'm talking about the most wins against a team with 18, the most yards against a team with over 7,100, and most TDs versus a team with 47. Phillip Rivers, this is a team that you don't like. And I don't think this team really likes you guys that much, because Derek Carr, he didn't like the Colts. But these 2 teams right now, they both need to win, because their playoff chances, they're on the line. So who's going to win this week? I don't know, but I know that Darren Waller, Derek Carr's favorite target, he might not have a good game, because the Colts, they haven't given up a 100-yard tight end receiver in 4 years. Since week 8 of 2016. That was Travis Kelce. What I can say about Phillip Rivers is the last 7 games, he's thrown for 209 yards per game. He has 14 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, a 99.8 passer rating, and only 4 giveaways. He's playing great right now. We need this Phillip Rivers week in and week out. If this is the Phillip Rivers that shows up this week, I got the Colts beating the Raiders. Give me Colts. Minnesota Vikings at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady and Kirk Cousins going in different directions. Over the past 4 weeks, Tom Brady's Bucks, they're 1-3, and he has 7 interceptions in that span. Kirk Cousins, on the other hand, since week 8, he has 15 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions. From weeks 1 to 7, he had 10 INTs. Kirk Cousins playing much better since he got over that primetime slump where, he couldn't win a game in primetime. He's moving quite along. But when we think about these Minnesota Vikings, they started the season 1-5. And since then, they've rattled off a number of wins to put themselves in the playoff conversation. Yeah, you're hearing that right. The Minnesota Vikings are currently in the playoff picture in that new 7th spot. And the Tampa Bay Bucks, they're in the 6th slot, and with the win, they can stay grounded there. But if the Vikings can find a way to beat Tampa Bay at home, they can move and be the 6th seed in the playoffs after that 1-5 start. It's mind-boggling to think, but I think the Bears are going to be one of the teams that'll be watching this game and really hoping Tampa Bay could get a win to really try to lift their chances of the playoffs. In this game, I'm going with Tampa Bay. I know the Vikings have been red hot, but this Tampa Bay team needs a win more than ever. Give me Tom Brady pissed off of a bye where he scores at least 17 more points than his opponents. I'm just saying, go Bucks. Baltimore Ravens at the Cleveland Browns. This is a matchup from week 1 where Baltimore will win 38-6, a complete stomping of the Cleveland Browns. But this isn't that same team, and if the Baltimore Ravens want to get in the playoffs, they need to win, and they need it on Monday night. Currently, the Browns sit at 9-3 and are 2nd in the AFC North, and the Ravens, they're just looking to get in the playoffs, and they're going to need some help and a ton of wins. In this game, I'm really focused in on which Baker Mayfield is going to show up. But the Cleveland Browns, they're in the playoffs, and with a couple more wins, they'll be confirmed. One thing to note, though, is these Baltimore Ravens have been getting better. We've seen a really tough stretch over the past 6 weeks where they've lost 4 games, and all of those games within 6 points. It's been tough, but this Baltimore Ravens team has played better. It's really going to be up to the MVP and Lamar Jackson to set the tone of this game, and the Ravens defense is going to have to show up. Myles Garrett has been playing phenomenal week after week, and we know he was out for a couple of weeks. But since he's been back, he creates so much trouble for offensive lines across the NFL. In this game, I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens. That's right, my team. I think they get another win against the Browns. I don't think that it's going to be an easy win. It's going to be ugly, and this defense will need to step up and stop the run in order to get the win. Let's go Ravens. Kansas City Chiefs at Miami Dolphins. A lot of people would expect this to be a game of the week, but Miami, they want to make sure that they make it in the playoffs, and they need to win against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs, on the other hand, they want that number 1 playoff spot, and a win this week and a Steelers loss, it puts them firmly there. I don't know about this game, though. I've said for weeks, when people play in Miami, South Beach is undefeated. It's tough to get a win down there, but we do know the Chiefs, they won a Super Bowl in Miami, and they're not opposed to Hard Rock Stadium. And in this game, I'm taking the upset. I'm going with Brian Flores and his Miami Dolphins. But there's a caveat. There's a small caveat. I'm taking the Dolphins if for some reason Ryan Fitzpatrick gets in this game, because I think that it gives the offense a better dynamic than what we've seen with Tua. I'm really excited for Tua for the future, but his statistics, they don't really match up well. And Brian Flores, he's got this team playing lights out, specifically that defense. And as we're talking about Brian Flores, he started his tenure in South Beach 0-7. He had 0 wins. Since then, he's turned this team into 13-8 in the past 21. He should be a head coach of the year candidate. I even talked about this team tanking, and right now they might be on their way to seeing a couple teams that don't want to see them in the playoffs. Give me Dolphins. So let's get to the rest of the picks for the week and how this week rounds out and getting closer to playoffs. So the first game, Dallas Cowboys at Cincinnati Bengals. Cowboys coming off a tough loss against my Ravens last week. These Cincinnati Bengals, though, they're kind of beat up. I don't know if they have enough to get over the hump to beat this Cowboys team, who Andy Dalton and his wide receiver corps have been looking better from week to week. Give me the Cowboys here in Cincinnati. Arizona at New York Giants. The Giants need a win. Arizona needs a win also to come off of this slump that they've had where they've lost the past 4 games. But this Giants defense has been playing great. They just beat the Seattle Seahawks last week, I believe 17-12. Yeah, they shut down Russell Wilson. This game is in New York, well, New Jersey. So we'll see what happens at MetLife. I feel really confident in the Cardinals right now. I am a little leery about the shoulder injury that Kyler Murray has had. I need Kyler Murray running the ball, and if I'm the Giants, I don't want to see him running at all. Give me the Cardinals. Denver Broncos at Carolina Panthers. We know that Christian McCaffrey is definitely going to be out for this one. And then after a 3-2 start for the Panthers, they just cannot get it together. And we've seen them lose week after week, sometimes in the worst fashion. But against these Denver Broncos and Drew Lock, who has been a turnover machine, I really like the Panthers here. Their defense showed up huge last week. So give me those Panthers for 200, Alex. Tennessee Titans at Jacksonville Jaguars. This Jaguars team is tougher than their record shows. I know that they're 1-11 and they've lost 11 straight. But don't sleep on the Jags. They've been in a ton of games this season. A lot of games where they lost by 3 or less points. Don't sleep on them, but they ain't winning this week. Give me those Tennessee Titans that are still pissed off from their loss from last week. I know they're pissed. Derrick Henry's better in December. He's going to run for over 100 yards. Give me the Tennessee Titans. Don't sleep on Ryan Tannehill either, as a matter of fact. He's the first Titans QB with a 100-plus passer rating in the team history. Let's go. New York Jets at Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks just lost to the Giants last week. The Jets found a way to lose to the Raiders in the last second of the game, but they're not tanking. Give me the Seahawks. The Jets are trying too hard to get Trevor Lawrence right now. If they were to slip up and get a win, it would be because they fired Adam Gase. Give me the Seahawks, even with that bad defense. Really bad. Really bad defense. Also, Jamal Adams, it's a revenge game for him. The Jets, they didn't want him. He's going to try to show out against his old team. Green Bay Packers at Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions fired their coach and then won a game. That's how you show up for your interim. That's how you show up for your interim. It ain't going to be enough, though. You got Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams coming into Detroit, and they are looking for a win, and I don't think they're walking out without one. As much as I love Matthew Stafford and I love how well this team played against the Bears last week and got a win that I thought they couldn't get, it's not enough against the Green Bay Packers. This offense is potent. Give me the Packers big time. And shout out to Matt LaFleur. I think we're sleeping on his coaching ability. Second year in the league. Balling. New Orleans Saints at Philadelphia Eagles. We've been asking for it. We've been talking about it. Carson Wentz got benched for Jalen Hurts. And it don't hurt to hear it. It does not hurt. I'm actually really excited to see what Jalen's going to be able to do. We know this O-line is bad. We know that Carson Wentz is taking a ton of sacks. But Jalen, he's more mobile. And I want to see if he can get something going with this Philadelphia Eagles team. Like we just want them to get going so bad. And it's tough because he's getting a start against one of the best defenses right now in the New Orleans Saints. And they're hot. But Taysom Hill, their quarterback right now that's been filling in for Drew Brees, I don't know if he has enough to keep going. I don't know. We've seen him run a lot of RPOs. We've seen him run a lot. Less than he's passed. And when he has been passing, meh. But I think it'll be enough to get past these Philadelphia Eagles. But if for some reason Jalen Hurts can find his groove and hit some of these targets that they have available to them on the Eagles, I think the Eagles have a chance. This game is in Philadelphia. But let's go Saints. Atlanta Falcons at Chargers. I picked the Atlanta Falcons to win last week. Totally let me down. This defense played way better than what I saw the week before last. And then last week it was a complete oh, we suck. Yeah, I don't know what happened. But the Chargers, they have not been better. Anthony Lynn is on the hot seat. And I don't know if he knows if his job is going to be available another week. He's playing a week-to-week game right now. We know that Justin Herbert is one of the best rookie passers that we have seen. But his team's not winning games, and that's the tough part about it. And if you're not winning games, as good as you are, nobody's going to talk about you. I still love you, Justin. I still love you. I don't know, guys. The Falcons kicker has 38 points. The team only has 24. They're kicking a ton of field goals. Give me the Chargers here. I just can't take Atlanta. Washington football team at San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers just got beat pretty bad, and I don't think they're happy about that. And the Washington football team, they're coming off a big win against a team that was undefeated on the season going into week 12. I think that they're still going to be hype about that win, and they're sleeping on a really tough 49ers team that's pissed off, that's not playing in their home stadium, and playing tough football. But statistics say that teams that are the home team that are not playing at home are 1-5, and the 49ers contributed to that 5 last week with a loss to the Bills. This week is different, though. Give me the San Francisco 49ers. Like I said, Kyle Shanahan, they're pissed off. They want to win, and they're tired of hearing, you guys are hurt. We understand. There's still competition. They still got something to play for. Give me the 49ers. There's so many things to talk about in this game. We can start off with Mitch Trubisky and how he was selected number 2 in the 2017 draft, and how Deshaun Watson was selected 12th. There's a ton to talk about. But the Texans, the Bears, these teams could have had different quarterbacks. Before Deshaun Watson's devastating loss to the Colts, where he fumbled on their last possession of the game, he had put up 19 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. The man has been balling. And if I'm the Chicago Bears, I'm probably rethinking the draft and thinking, why didn't I take Deshaun Watson? And in this game, I'm taking the Chicago Bears only because they have the better defense. I think that they will be able to contain Deshaun Watson, but also because the Bears, they need a win to try to stay in the playoff race. If they can get a win, Tampa Bay gets a win against the Vikings, and then next week they beat the Vikings, they're in the playoffs. Go Bears. Go get a win. These are my picks. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Talking Football with Crombie. Y'all agree with my picks? If not, leave me a comment. Let me know. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. See you next week.
Silly talk, you know I'm on walk, yeah, I got a mask and the main attraction, yeah, I run it up like Lamar Jackson, yeah. You think I'm a lame, I don't say much, but I'm hanging out the window, I'ma spray much, yeah. Niggas wanna go to war with a battle, oh Lord, I'ma have to.